Hello, Lindsay. So I'm going to show you some of the changes that we put in for what we call multiple actions per rule. And basically what this does is this allows us to have a single rule that performs multiple functions on the packets that match that rule. So I'm going to start by showing you the existing version. So this is what you have today. Here's a policy for a particular firewall. So if I add a policy, and let's say I wanted to, I need to create a couple objects here. So let's say I have a network 192.168.1.0, make that a /24. Let's create another one and call that 2.0, also /24. And that should be good for now. Let's say I wanted to tag that traffic. So I'm going to say from network 1 to network 2. So the first thing I want to do is tag. So if I, in the current version, if I go here, right click, select tag, I have the single action of tag. And I need to drag a tag service down there. So, so create a new tag service, and tag will be tag1. Okay. So now I go back here. Oh, let's change this tag service. Call that tag1. Okay. So I drag and drop tag1 into the tag for this particular rule, and you can see it updates and says tag1. Now, what that means is this rule, the only thing it's going to do is tag the packet. So if I compile the rule by clicking X, I can see that the things that happen in this packet, it gets added to this pre-routing. We have logging enabled. I'll just disable logging. Recompile. You can see the only thing that we're doing right now is adding this mark, which is what we call a tag. iptables calls mark, and it's setting it to this value of 1. So there's no accept or deny or other action that's happening. So if I then want to accept the traffic after I tag it, I need to copy that rule, have the same matching rule, and add an accept. Right? So now what will happen is the first rule will tag it, the second rule will accept it. If I wanted to also do what's called classifying the traffic, well, I would need to do that in another rule. Again, I can, set the source and destination. So now I can classify it. In this case, iptables uses these queues, so I'm going to classify it into Q1. See, the classification ends up. So as you can see, to do for the exact same traffic source and destination pairs, I have to have 3 rules: one that tags it, one that classifies it, and one that accepts it. And if I look at each one of these, I can say, okay, this one does the classify action, this one does the marking or the tagging action, and this one does the accepting action, right? So it's not very efficient, and we have in iptables it may not be quite so bad because each one of these is a separate action from iptables perspective. There's another platform that we support, which is BSD's PF, and with PF there's a little bit of a difference. PF actually allows you to define multiple actions in a single rule. So in PF's case, you can say I want to mark and classify and do all these other things in a single line. And so what we've done in the latest Firewall Builder version is we've collapsed and consolidated these actions so that you can say I want all of these 3 things to be done in a single rule. So I'll show you the new version here in a second. Just a reminder, when you right click, here's all the things that are available in the current version: accept, deny, etc., tag, classify, and route. So now let's look at the new version. So let's get rid of the old version here. Let's grab the new version and take a look at this. Okay, so if I create a new rule, and I'm going to create the same set of similar networks, so here I have a 10 192.168.10 network talking to a 192.168.11 network. So I want to accept the traffic, but I also want to tag and mark it. So how do I do that? Well, in the rule options, there's now these 3 new tabs that have moved from being in this action. So you notice that we no longer see tag, classify, or route in this list of available actions. we only find those in this rules options that we enabled. So now we have tag, classify, and route here. So tag, just like what we had in the previous version, requires you to drag and drop a tag service into it. So now what you see is instead of the action changing, the option field has changed. So we add this tag1 indicator to show which tag is going to be marked with this traffic. Next, we can add classify. So before we wanted to do this string, adding that classify string. Notice it just shows up as an additional attribute, additional rules option in this same rule. Routing doesn't mix with the tag and classify, so we'll just let that one be for a minute. Now if I click on X to compile the rule, multiple things are done under the covers for the user. So first of all, we have the rules that say from the source and destination we accept the traffic, so that's an important thing. Then we have the rules that actually do the marking and the classification, again for the same source and destination pair. So we've been able to go from this view where we have 3 rules, 3 actions, to this view where we have 1 rule, 1 action, and then we have multiple options that are defined in the rule options field. So this is going to affect a number of areas of documentation, including, which actions are available. So that list of available actions will need to be updated, as well as documenting the rule options and these tabs of how tag and classify and route are now available as a rule option. There should be a fair amount of reusability with the existing documentation around tags. We've only changed the location of the action definition as opposed to changing any of the underlying behavior. So hopefully that won't be too much rewrite involved there. I think that's pretty much it for what I wanted to show you for this particular feature. So I'm going to end here and save this and send you a copy, and just let me know if you have questions. Thanks, Lindsay.